A couple of free picks here for the Saturday card, among them the Georgia-Auburn game, but a couple of announcements of a personal nature. First of all, you can hear my voice. I'm not exactly healthy at the moment, so my son got married last Saturday. In preparation for that wedding, of course, I had a new house that just got finished being built, trying to get that house ready in time, having a whole flock of family coming in town, working nonstop, and I'm a guy who works like 16, 18 hours a day anyway. I probably average like 2 hours of sleep in the week leading up to the wedding. And then, of course, you know what a wedding's like. I mean, in my son's wedding, I think we had like 150 some guests between the rehearsal dinner, between the wedding last Saturday, between the post-wedding brunch last Sunday. I can't tell you how many hands I shook, kisses I gave, hugs I endured. Naturally, I got sick, which it was bound to happen, but I don't get a cold. I immediately get bronchitis because I've had pneumonia 7 times since I was a teenager. And you get pneumonia that many times, your lungs get damaged. And if you're a regular follower of me here at the sites, you know 2 summers ago, I got it and it took me 6 months to get over it when I went down to like 55% lung capacity. And that's how it goes. So I'm trying my best to ward off another bout of pneumonia since it's already in my chest and I've got a bad case of bronchitis now, which of course means you have to put up with this lousy voice because this is about the most I've got. The other thing is, as you know, you see my picture all over these sites. I haven't been here on these sites. I've been doing videos for months. I'm a migraine sufferer, have been for some 30 some years. I've been under treatment from various neurologists. Go to one of the few actual migraine clinics in this country at Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. I've always been very fortunate. Somebody who's been able to power right through migraines. I've never seen the auras. I've never had to lay down and be able to, close the blinds. And, I've been able to power through and work through 99.9% of the migraines, thanks to combinations of medicines. In February, that all changed. I don't know what happened. But instead of getting my usual 3 migraines a week, I was getting about 25 to 28 every 30 days, and they were debilitating. And listen, I can handicap baseball without thinking. Football and basketball takes a lot of brain power, takes a lot of research. I couldn't work anymore. That's why I've disappeared so often here on the sites. That's why I stopped doing videos and they've tried so many different medicines over the past 6 months. 3 weeks ago, they finally hit a concoction, a new shot. You see all those shots they advertise on TV? I've tried them all. On this one, I've only had 3 migraines in 2 weeks. That's like nirvana. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping this will work. So you may start seeing me do these videos on a more regular basis. That, of course, is if I ever get over this cold as well and bronchitis. So with that being said, let's talk about the sites here. You know that I fired Dwayne Connors, long overdue. I hired 2 guys, Mitch Newman, who is going for 100 max wager winner number 4 out of 5 today, and Stephen D'Angelo, who was only won 7 straight days and going for winner number 8 today with his biggest play so far. And they're both discounted today. Two pretty good hires, I would think. And there's going to be another guy that I've hired that will be starting in about week 2 as I continue to shake up the roster of handicappers. I'm going to save my voice. You can check all the promos and discount coupons over on the homepage if you don't mind. Let's get to your complimentary plays. I'm going to go with Georgia, minus the 3 at Auburn. I know what Auburn can do defensively, but Georgia's a better team defensively. And it comes down my pick in this game to Bo Nix this season, the freshman quarterback, and what he has done against the 3 top-ranked teams that he has faced this season: Florida, LSU, and Oregon. In the Oregon game, yes, he led them to the comeback thanks to his feet. 13 for 31, 177 yards, a couple of interceptions. Against Florida, 11 for 27, 145 yards, 3 interceptions. Against LSU, 15 for 35, 1 interception. In those 3 games, all top 10 foes, his quarterback rating was 43.5. That's 17 points lower than his overall season QBR, which isn't that good to begin with. Now, Auburn runs the ball nearly 61% of the time this season. And they're number 2 in the SEC in rushing yards per game, almost 220 yards per game. But you got a Georgia run defense that is number 2 in the nation, giving up just 74.6 yards per game. Is Georgia a little inconsistent offensively? Yes. But you don't doubt that Georgia defense giving up just 10.1 points per game. Number 1 in red zone defense this season. No rushing touchdowns allowed this year. How did they lose it at home to South Carolina in overtime? Beyond me. Watch the game. I think it's just one of those mulligans. Huge game for Georgia. I'll lay the 3 points. I'm going to buy down to half point. Anywhere between 3 and 4.5 on the Bulldogs in this game. Another game on the nighttime card, later in the nighttime card, I like Cincinnati, minus the 2 touchdowns at South Florida. You know me. You give me an opportunity to go against Charlie Strong, I will do so. The Bulls had won 3 out of 4 before they lost last week at home to Temple and looked miserable in doing so. And Temple wasn't playing that well coming into that game, but Temple absolutely owned them in that game, held South Florida 286 yards, sacked the South Florida quarterback 9 times in that game. South Florida 3-9 against the spread, their last 12 at home. You got a Cincinnati defense that allows just 21 points a game. You have a Cincinnati offense that is extremely well balanced. They run for 205 yards a game. They pass for 204 yards a game. They've won 7 straight games. And the thing I like about Cincinnati is 2 weeks ago, they struggled in a game against East Carolina, 46-43. Came out last week, did what they had to do against a bad team, beat up UConn 48-3. South Florida, better than UConn, on par with East Carolina, maybe a little better. 14 points is not a big number for the Cincinnati team to take South Florida out to the woodshed. So I like Cincinnati in this game. Early card, Kansas State, coming off that tough loss at Texas. A game in which they were thoroughly outplayed. I mean, they were outgained 477-304. Lost it on a field goal with no time left, 27-24. Problem in that game, Kansas State was not able to run the ball at all in that contest, and that's really the key, the bread and butter for that K-State offense. Now, James Gilbert, their top running back, who's averaging 5.6 yards a carry, he did not play in that game. He is questionable for his availability for today's game, but I still think Kansas State can get the job done at home against a West Virginia team that's coming off a 38-17 home loss to Texas Tech. Wasn't even that close. They were down 35-10 at halftime. That was their 5th straight loss. They have scored, the Mountaineers, 17 or fewer points in their 4 of their last 5 games. Their defense has allowed 38 or more points in 4 of those last 5 losses as well. And it's a little bit of a revenge game for Kansas State because last year they went to Morgantown when West Virginia was the far superior team and they had their asses kicked 35-6. So I like Kansas State minus the 2 touchdowns in that one as a rebound from that loss to Texas. So again, if I had to rank the plays, I would probably say it would be Cincinnati, Georgia number 2, Kansas State number 3. That'll do it, and I wish you well, guys, and thank you for putting up with my voice today. Good luck, everybody.